The last couple of days I've been going absolutely insane, not because of the holiday season, but because I think that I have stumbled across something very big. I have been gifted some sort of forbidden knowledge that I'm not supposed to know. It feels like some sort of divine being, like one of those biblically accurate eyeball angels, came down and said, "Hey Alex, this is a true fact about the world that you live in, and you can tell people, but it doesn't matter because they're not going to believe you. Why would anyone? Because this is just crazy." And then he said, "All right, dude, I'll see you later. I'm going to go back to Archimedes, or wherever the hell I live." I don't know what Archimedes is. Anywho, I watched Barbie the other day, and I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought that it was really funny. Acting was great. Greta Gerwig's a genius. Really creative, really clever. I think the message, I think, was extremely heavy-handed. Like, these things were like a fucking 1,000 pounds. But I think that a lot of the times, if you're a man and you're really upset about this movie and really offended by it, and like you take it really personally and make like long videos like ranting about it and destroying the Barbie movie, then I think that that's a bit of a red flag, because I think that men do in some ways need that deconstruction and need to think about those things. But I couldn't help but notice how much Barbie reminded me of another movie that I watched recently about men being kind of terrible, Fight Club. When I was watching Barbie, at the end of the movie, Barbie says, "You're not your girlfriend, you're not your house, you're not your mink." That's a direct quote from the movie, which I found to be staggeringly similar to when Tyler Durden says, "You're not the car you drive, you're not the contents of your wallet, you're not your fucking khakis." So Barbie said that, and I went, holy shit, that reminds me of Fight Club. That sounds just like Fight Club. And that, why do these movies have such same quotes? Are they trying to say the same thing? Are their themes similar? That would be kind of funny, because they almost, on the surface, they seem like opposite. You know what I mean? Much like kind of like Barbenheimer, right? How Oppenheimer and Oppenheimer, I don't need to explain fucking Barbenheimer to you. But anyway, Fight Club is a great movie about men beating the fuck out of each other and suffering psychotic breaks, and there's blood everywhere, and there's liposuction fat everywhere, and these men are unhealthy. And Barbie's like, yeah, we're, pink and everything is happy, and, we're going to cause a pink paint shortage with these sets and stuff. So how the hell could these movies have similar themes? That's what you would think. But Angel Man, that fucker, he told me, he said, "Alex, think about it. So I thought about it, and I slept on that thought of, do these movies have similar themes? And I found that the theme that I found most prevalent in Fight Club also exists in Barbie. I found Fight Club to be really about men who feel that they haven't been given enough opportunities to quote-unquote be men in the most traditional, societal, acceptable way. So what they do is they lash out against that society that they feel has kept them down with corporate consumerism and commercialism in increasingly violent, destructive, toxic ways, i.e. beating the fuck out of each other to near death in basements or blowing up coffee shops and vandalism and all that stuff. Whereas Barbie is just sort of like, the women rule this place and it's cool, and now the men rule it and now it's bad, and now the women rule it and it's good again. What I saw in Barbie was all the Kens in Barbie Land lashing out against Barbie Land because everything was ruled by women and pink and girly, and they pretty much said, no, we've had enough of that, and I just found out about this thing that men rule the world. When Ken goes, yeah, men rule the world, I want that in my world. So he does the patriarchy, right? But how is that similar in a way? It's similar, I found, because both of these movies seem to have very prevalent themes of what I think I'd refer to as repressed masculinity, right? The Kens didn't rule anything. They didn't do shit. They're fucking idiots. They beach off. What do they do? What purpose do they serve in Barbie Land? They're not like, do they have sex? I don't know. It didn't seem like it. So what purpose did the Kens serve? And the Kens were like, yeah, no, fuck that. And I just found out that in the real world, patriarchy is cool, so we're going to do that here. And then guess what? They do, and it's bad. What was I talking about? So I almost think that Fight Club's Project Mayhem is Barbie's patriarchy. Both these movies have these large amounts of men trying so hard to be men to the point where it almost ruins and does ruin everything. Or maybe I'm looking too deep into it. Or maybe both of these movies have protagonists and main characters that are both representative of the perfect feminine woman and the perfect masculine man. Tyler Durden, those abs, the way he looks, the way he acts. Whereas Barbie is literally called stereotypically perfect Barbie or something like that in the movie. Much like how Barbie looks perfect. I don't fucking know. That's another thing I found to be very similar. You know, like they both have these characters that are perfect in their own ways. Now, of course, Tyler Durden is a bad guy in Fight Club, and Barbie's actually good and decent and grows and learns things, whereas Tyler Durden is literally Andrew Tate. It's too big of a similarity not to mention, I think. So, yeah, isn't that wild? Barbie and Fight Club have the same messages of repressed masculinity and men lashing out against the societies that they feel have kept them soft. Isn't that interesting? I'm going to call it. Do this stuff, I guess, you know. Support me.